Tonight on SRU Nightly News. Charges are filed against a Butler County mechanic.
The Grove City Library is in desperate need of assistance.
McDonald's is changing up their menu.
And gas prices are beginning to rise yet again. All this and more on SRU Nightly News.
Welcome to SRU Nightly News. I'm Brandon Pierce.
And I'm Bex Preneta.
In Butler County, Keith Smith, a mechanic, has been criminally charged after a barrage of complaints were placed by victims of his business, Oilology. One, William Acker, said that he and his wife frequently passed a business and it is still up and running, and that people are still being taken advantage of. Acker had taken his car to Oilology in 2021 and was taken advantage of for over a year. Acker is far from the only victim of the insufficient service. Outside of the courtroom in Cranberry, fellow victims say that they paid Smith for repairs that seem to never have taken place. Acker also explained the confusing process he'd gone through with Smith, stating that over the course of a year, he'd been supplied with 16 to 20 so-called rental cars semi-weekly as replacement for his own. There are at least 5 cases against Smith in various areas. Most recently, in Cranberry, over 7 people testified against Smith, who pleaded not guilty to all charges.
The Grove City Community Library is seeking help and support to keep its doors open. As a cost-cutting measure, the library schedule will no longer be open on Saturdays beginning next month. Library staff have been reaching out to secure donations and funding as the COVID-19 lockdown period steeply stifled their pre-existing funding. Library Director Amy Gallagher explained that roughly 60% of the library's funding is sourced from contributors. The library would like to continue to offer programming and events for children and adults to cultivate engagement with the surrounding communities. There are over 325 programs a year, ranging from summer and winter reading programs to family events and comic contests. Donations can be made online or in person at 125 West Main Street, Grove City. It is open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday. For more info, visit www.grovecitypalibrary.org.
Big changes are coming to McDonald's cheeseburgers. McDonald's cheeseburgers have had a signature American fast food classic since the company's surge in the 1950s. Soon, McDonald's will be changing up how they cook their burgers, which they say will lead to a better tasting and cheesier meal. McDonald's burgers will now be served on softer buns, and caramelized burger patties will be grilled with onions. If you ever had a problem cheese not being fully melted onto your burger, worry not. According to McDonald's, burgers will now be served with slices of cheese that will melt more and served with a special sauce.
Gas prices are back on the rise again. Western Pennsylvania drivers are beginning to see their gas prices back on the rise, with some Butler gas stations marking their gas at $3.70 per gallon to $3.80 per gallon. Drivers saw their first decrease in gas prices in nearly 2 years in mid-November. Gas price finally hit its lowest in December, falling to $3 per gallon. In June of 2022, gas prices were at record highs of $5 per gallon. Drivers looking to find the best gas prices can use GasBuddy.com. Drivers can look up the nearest gas stations to their location and see what each station is selling their gas at.
When we return, we'll have more stories for you.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college. Ended up really liking the job. Worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
As years pass and people come and go from our lives, all we have is our memories. From the family gathering to the summer baseball games to that first trip to Disney, those memories are something to be cherished. I thought many of those memories were lost to time and outdated technology, but with Memory Lane Media, they gave me those memories back so that I can share them with my grandkids, and they can share them with their kids one day.
My name is Will Gormley, and I'm the owner of the Dinky Dachshund Tattoo Parlor. Here at Dinky Dachshund Tattoo Parlor, we offer a variety of body piercings, tooth gems, tattoos, custom artwork, commission artwork. What our inspiration here at the Dinky Dachshund is to just look at the walls, look around the shop. There's so much stuff in here to look at. Our goal here is to supply our customers with a personalized, high-quality experience when getting a tattoo or a piercing.
My name is Lily Hazlett. I am the receptionist and the piercer. We also offer different kinds of jewelry, colored jewelry, whether it's a hoop, a stud, and everyone can kind of pick out what they want. They don't have to start with something that's plain. They can start with something that makes them happy and it'll look good on their body or ear.
I'm Alex Aspinall, and I'm the shop's second artist. What sets us apart from the other shops in town, the 6 other shops in town, is that we care. We like to make sure that every tattoo is for you from us because we care.
Welcome back. A horrific accident occurred in New York City Tuesday afternoon as a parking garage collapsed. 6 people were injured and 1 is dead in what authorities are saying was a structural collapse. Police were cautious about entering what remains of the structure, fearing it to be unstable, used a robotic dog to search for people still trapped among the debris. The police are also using a drone in an attempt to check cars stuck inside the collapsed structure to ensure that there are no victims trapped within their vehicles. As of Tuesday night, police and firefighters were still searching for more potential victims.
A woman was shot and killed Saturday night in upstate New York. 4 individuals were driving to see some friends in upstate New York when they accidentally pulled into the wrong driveway. After quickly realizing their mistake, the vehicle began backing towards the road. Allegedly at the moment, 65-year-old Kevin Monahan stepped onto his porch and opened fire on the vehicle. During the shooting, 20-year-old Kaylin Gillis was struck and killed by one of the bullets. According to Gillis's friends, they quickly attempted to head back towards town in order to regain cell service to call 911. First responders found the group approximately 5 miles away from Monahan's home. Monahan is described by police as showing no remorse for the shooting, while Monahan's attorney, Kurt Mauser, claims that the authorities' interpretation of events is incorrect. According to Mauser, his client felt fearful when a group of vehicles entered his property and quickly approached his home, believing he was in danger. Washington County Sheriff Jeffrey Murphy disagrees, stating that the initial investigation found that the shots that Monahan fired were fired as the vehicles were leaving. Officials quickly arrived at Monahan's residence, where authorities say it took hours for Monahan to surrender himself, who was inside his home communicating with his attorney. Gillis was a 2021 Schuylerville High School graduate. Her family has described her as a kind woman and having a beautiful soul. Monahan is charged with second-degree murder. Our thoughts and prayers are with Gillis's family.
On Tuesday evening, news broke that Fox News had reached a settlement with Dominion Voting Systems, heading off what would have been a landmark trial. Per the details of the settlement, Fox News has agreed to pay $787.5 million to Dominion Voting Systems for defaming their company during the 2020 election, with claims the election was stolen. After the announcement of the settlement, the lawyer for Dominion Voting Systems spoke to reporters outside of the courthouse. Attorney Justin Nelson told reporters that truth matters and lies have consequences. According to sources, one of the agreements for the settlement involves Fox News not having to admit any wrongdoing within their reporting. The trial, which was gearing up for opening arguments this afternoon, would have seen Fox News figures such as owner Rupert Murdoch and Tucker Carlson appearing as witnesses. According to attorney Nelson, this ongoing issue had been playing out for nearly 2 years and had done little more than cause harm to both Dominion and the country. During the aftermath of the 2020 election, several Fox News hosts made claims that the election had been stolen and suggested that President Joe Biden was not the rightful winner. In a statement offered to the press after the settlement, Fox News acknowledged that certain claims about Dominion were false and that putting an end to this trial allows the country to move forward.
In Missouri, 84-year-old Andrew Lester was taken into custody after surrendering to authorities. The Kansas City resident is accused of shooting a black teenager who mistook Lester's address while going to pick up his younger brothers on April 14th. On Monday, Lester was charged with 2 felonies, first-degree assault and armed criminal action. According to the sheriff's office, Lester was released Tuesday evening after he posted bail, which had been set at $200,000. At around 10 p.m. Thursday night, the 16-year-old Ralph Yarrell had gone to the wrong address when going to pick up his younger brothers. Yarrell was shot through the glass door after ringing Lester's doorbell. Lester told investigators that he was at the door armed with a .32 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver and thought his home was being broken into. According to Yarrell, who was interviewed at the hospital, Lester immediately shot him in the head. He said Lester shot him again in the arm after he had fallen to the ground and recalled hearing a voice telling him not to come around the area. While Yarrell sustained permanent injuries from the event, he is expected to make a near full recovery. Prayers to Ralph Yarrell and his family. An update from last week's story on the leaked classified documents. The FBI has made a probable cause arrest in connection with the case. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the 21-year-old Jack Teixeira was taken into custody. Teixeira is a member of the Massachusetts Air Force National Guard. According to Garland, he will appear at the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts. The leaked documents have been described as being initially shared in a Discord group chat before being spread further. The alleged leaker was said to be referred to as OG on the server. The Washington Post recently reported to have reviewed a video that featured Teixeira at a shooting range making, quote-unquote, a series of racial and anti-Semitic slurs into the camera before firing several rounds at a target.
When we come back, I'll be sitting down with Matthew Glover, the Rocket's new editor-in-chief.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college, ended up really liking the job, worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
joined by Matthew Glover, who on Monday was hired as the Rocket's new editor-in-chief. Matt, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, let me start by asking, what inspired you to get into journalism?
Well, I grew up in a pretty conservative Christian family, and so one of those families where Fox News is on a lot of the time. So during family gatherings, I remember just watching that when I was little, and I really enjoyed like the storytelling aspects and the act of just informing the public of like what's going on and being that gatekeeper of information. But I didn't figure out that I actually wanted to start writing until I took a college English class my senior year of high school, and I figured out that when I'm writing about something I actually want to write about, then man, it's a lot of fun. I like doing my own research. I like talking to people. And the social aspects has actually become one of the things I enjoy the most. So yeah, I got into journalism from a pretty young age, but didn't figure out I wanted to start actually pursuing it and start writing until like my senior year of high school.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I was in a similar situation when I joined a video production class, and I really enjoyed doing this. And especially I know what you mean when you said how it's a lot easier to write papers or write articles when you're actually interested in it for once, as opposed to being assigned what to write about.
Yeah, definitely. So I enjoy, as part of the Rocket, getting to choose my own assignments and whatnot, and make sure that I'm giving out assignments that the people taking them are actually interested in.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Rocket, was the Rocket something you knew you wanted to do when you arrived at Slippery Rock?
Not at all, really. Because I had come from IUP and I had previously worked at the Pen, their student newspaper there, and I thought that it would be probably run in a similar fashion once I got here, but it wasn't run in a similar fashion at all. The way they did things at the Rocket was a lot more streamlined, a lot more modern than what I was used to, and it was actually working with a team as just writing a story for an editor and turning a draft into him.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming at with that. So when did you finally join the Rocket?
I joined the semester after I came officially. So I transferred here in spring 2020 during COVID, and that first semester I just contributed. I wrote like one article for the Rocket, and so I was surprised that they were so eager to bring me on as news editor after that, since I'd only contributed once.
Yeah, I think I actually remember seeing your name pop up in print, and I'm like, who's this Matt Glover kid? I call you kid like we're the same age. But
I call everybody kid.
for sure. Well, during your tenure, have you worked on a story that frequently comes to mind, like one of your favorite stories, or maybe a story that you're most proud of, or one that personally impacted you?
Something that I'm always very proud of is my political coverage. Like I said, I'm passionate about politics, and so when I read the journalism that's already been covered for these candidates, it's bias, like straight up. It's bias, it's not objective. And so I'm grateful to be in a position where I can give just the facts and allow the reader to form their own opinion instead of listening to what somebody is telling them.
Yeah, that seems like a very good philosophy to have on a lot of this. I know I've definitely seen a lot of articles that have swayed one way or the other, but just based off what I saw for your articles, it's been very neutral.
Thank you. I've enjoyed the political side of things, and I've also enjoyed writing about the local politics in Slippery Rock. We previously haven't had a lot of like borough coverage, and so I'm glad that we're finally getting that into the mix as well. And like the locals are really responding to that on social media too.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it seems really interesting, especially for you getting to meet some local officials as well. I know you've done an interview with Mayor John David Longo, and just people like that. How's that been for you, meeting those higher ups?
Making those connections has been amazing, and they're good people to work with, definitely. Whether you agree with their views or not, they're always down for an interview. They're always happy to talk to you, happy to see you. So I felt very grateful to be able to make those connections.
Yeah, glad to hear it. So let's change gears a little bit. So speaking of the editor-in-chief role, was this something that you knew you wanted to do?
This is something that I actively didn't want to do when I came in. Because when I came in, I knew that I wouldn't be or I knew that I would be graduating a semester early and not finishing out the year. So I thought that that might be difficult for the next editor-in-chief to switch gears throughout the semester, or in the middle of the semester, but it got me thinking that this is a good opportunity for me to demonstrate the leadership skills I've learned just by managing a section in the Rocket. And I'm thinking, it wasn't something I wanted to do or something I had visions of doing when I signed on, but I'm happy to have moved into the role and be able to set things like in place that I know that they'll be there for a considerable amount of time and that they will help out the future employees of the Rocket.
Yeah, seems like a couple good philosophies to have going into that.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about the application process and what interviewing for that position was like?
Yeah, the application process was fairly simple for me since I had gone through it once before and the staff already knew me very well. So it was the same application that I had filed for news editor, and I was happy that I had like even more new ideas to bring this time because they always ask for new ideas. They ask how you want to reinvent the section. So I was grateful that I had even more to say this time. And the interview process was pretty nerve-wracking, honestly. It's something that you're thinking about all day before you go into it. And then once you go in there, you're surrounded by your peers, and they all know you, and they all know that we're all friends here, but they're sort of looking at how you are going to be a leader, how you're going to elevate the organization. So there's a little bit of pressure when you actually walk into the interview, but I feel like I handled it pretty well.
Well, glad to hear it. Must have gone pretty well. You know, I got the position. So.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, moving on for next semester, do you have any big ideas that you want to implement at the newspaper and that will give you your paper your own personal touch with your new role?
Yeah, I do. Typically, the Rocket has written pretty long articles that we feel like a lot of the audience isn't as enthusiastic to read because they know it's going to take up more time, more brain power, and the audience wants to take up as least brain power as possible in this day and age. So I would like to we have a 3-story-a-week requirement right now, and I'd like to keep that 3-story-a-week requirement, but I would like to make maybe one of those articles very long and very feature-y, while the other 2 articles for the week are more talking about directly what the issue is and giving more of a brief summary and more of a summary than more of a whole analytical piece, because as we looked around at other news organizations, that's what they're doing, and that's how they're attracting viewers because their things don't take nearly as long to read. And yeah, that's one of the things, or one of the changes I want to make for the Rocket.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. Think about that, because some people want to read those full-on stories like that, but then there's a whole lot of people that just want a quick synopsis of things going on. I think that's a very good idea to go off of.
Thank you. And there's another part or reason I say that too is because people aren't always going to be writing huge feature-length articles like that. Like some journalism jobs require you to write in-depth pieces, and some require you to cover breaking news. And so yeah, I want to make sure that journalists coming into the Rocket have a good balance of the 2 different writing styles for their future.
Yeah, very nice to hear about that.
Thanks.
Well, Finally, I know I can speak for everyone here at WSRU-TV that we're very much enjoyed having you work with us over these past couple weeks like this, and having you be a part of this Rock Media Network. That said, the new network got off to a rocky start this semester. As editor-in-chief, what are your own thoughts on Rock Media Network, and do you plan to continue growing relationships with the other 2 organizations, media organizations, us included?
Yes, I would like to get further details off the ground of how we're going to combine everything into Rock Media Network. I know the Campus Life editor and I had talked about getting something started with the radio, but we had never gotten around to just the whole training aspect of when you're going into the radio station like that. And so that never got off the ground, but we hope to get it off the ground next semester. And with hiring a multimedia editor right now, we are keeping in mind how we can allow them to work with WSRU-TV and WSRU-FM within Rock Media Network as well. So we are constantly looking at ways that we can collaborate, and we do plan to do many more activities in the future.
Cool. Well, that's good to hear. Well, we want to once again congratulate you on your new role. After working with you for so many times, I know that I can say the Rocket is in good hands. I've had a lot of good times covering different stories with you, especially the tree falling story. That was a good one we just did.
That was a fun one.
But that's definitely some of my media highlights was working with you on all this. So,
well, thank you. I look forward to continuing that partnership in the future.
For sure. Well, when we come back, we'll discuss some fun and exciting campus events taking place.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college, ended up really liking the job, worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
Main Street's more of a budget-friendly option. You've got the smaller apartments that definitely leave a lot more room for customization. They are also fully furnished. It's kind of our hidden gem. So you have your options of 3-people units or 2-people units. South Rock's more of our in-between property. It's not super fancy, but it's also still very budget-friendly. You have the opportunity to live with 3 other individuals, which definitely helps with the pricing. The units come fully furnished. The bedrooms come with a desk, a dresser, a nightstand, and a full-size bed. Kitchens are fully equipped. You have a washer and dryer in the apartment, and then you have a really nice patio. Stonecrest is quiet, comfortable, classy. We offer 4 bedrooms and we have 2 bedrooms. All of our units are completely furnished. The kitchen is fully equipped. You have fridge, stove, microwave, dishwasher and garbage disposal, and you do have a patio space as well. For more information, visit us at www.southrockapartments.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back. We have some exciting events for you coming up this week on campus.
Musical Theater Society is hosting MTS Karaoke Night tonight at 8 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. The event will be located in the Advanced Technology and Science Hall in room 142. If you enjoy singing or are looking for something fun to do with some friends, come check out the event.
On Saturday, April 22nd, the McCoskey Center will be hosting Earthfest from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the McCoskey Center located on Harmony Road. Come out and enjoy celebrating Earth Day with food, raffle tickets, raffle baskets, music, do-it-yourself workshops, children's activities, a local vendor market, and much more. This free event is eco-friendly, fun for everyone. Come support your undergraduate peers as they take part in the Student Sustainability Project Showcase to highlight the amazing student research and projects that are connected to the McCoskey Center. If you enjoy horseback riding, you're in luck. The Storm Harbor Equestrian Center staff will be offering horseback rides by suggested donation. There will be live music throughout the entire event.
When we come back, we're joined by Real Reviews from the Rock's host, James Cressman and Dr. Brittany Fleming.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college, ended up really liking the job, worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
As years pass and people come and go from our lives, all we have is our memories. From the family gathering to the summer baseball games to that first trip to Disney, those memories are something to be cherished. I thought many of those memories were lost to time and outdated technology, but with Memory Lane Media, they gave me those memories back so that I can share them with my grandkids, and they can share them with their kids one day.
Main Street's more of a budget-friendly option. You've got the smaller apartments that definitely leave a lot more room for customization. They are also fully furnished. It's kind of our hidden gem. So you have your options of 3-people units or 2-people units. South Rock's more of our in-between property. It's not super fancy, but it's also still very budget-friendly. You have the opportunity to live with 3 other individuals, which definitely helps with the pricing. The units come fully furnished. The bedrooms come with a desk, a dresser, a nightstand, and a full-size bed. Kitchens are fully equipped. You have a washer and dryer in the apartment, and then you have a really nice patio. Stonecrest is quiet, comfortable, classy. We offer 4 bedrooms and we have 2 bedrooms. All of our units are completely furnished. The kitchen is fully equipped. You have fridge, stove, microwave, dishwasher and garbage disposal, and you do have a patio space as well. For more information, visit us at www.southrockapartments.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back. We're back with James Cressman, one of our SRU news producers, and Dr. Brittany Fleming, not just the WSRU-TV advisor, but our award-winning advisor as well. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Brandon. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Glad you can make it. Well, today is a day for interviews. That's for sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that tie.
Yeah. Oh,
Did you get that in Vegas?
No, I did not. I found it in the back of my closet, and I thought it would go well with the black.
it does.
It does.
It does. You're always very snazzily dressed.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's actually talk about real reviews from The Rock, which is what we're actually here for.
Okay.
Dr. Fleming, you just recently joined James as the new permanent co-host to finish out the season. What has that been like?
It has been a lot of fun. In the past, students have asked me to be a part of their shows and be on air, but I never wanted to, I mean, for news or for reporting, and I never really wanted to do that just because that's not, I don't want it to be the Brittany Fleming show. But I think it is good experience for students to be able to see how to just kind of ad-lib content and kind of good presentation techniques on camera. I'm not saying that I'm an expert at it, but I do a lot of public speaking, and so just being able to bring that to the camera, I think, is valuable for the students. But working with James is just a blast.
We have fun.
Yeah, we do. And it's really fun to watch the movies and bring some of my education about storytelling to the show, and his film expertise. It's just a good combo, I think.
It also helps that, I can make jokes at the desk that somebody, gets.
He's a funny guy.
Unlike, I think sometimes Aaron would just be like, okay, well, whatever that means. And then just, go into his next thing. So we love you, Aaron. I'm not making fun of you.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like there's been a lot more discussion of the content as well as the context behind it, which is a lot more interesting, I think, than just, I can read a synopsis whenever I want, but actually hearing banter and what is going on and some special behind-the-scenes stuff. That's been really interesting to hear about.
Yeah, I think that we do, what we bring to the show it complements one another because he does a lot of the fun facts and whatnot. And like I said, I have been talking a lot about the storytelling and more so the characters, but James is really great at doing research on the actors and producers and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think the way that we structured the episodes now is a lot better because, I mean, it not only does it, entertain, but, I mean, it is a university show. So, I mean, at the same point, it should also offer something that,
Yeah.
people
Is
want to learn.
educational,
I guess
right.
educational is the word, So, I mean, maybe that's what they want, educational. Probably not on their
We're like,
Saturday
we're
afternoon.
funny and we're smart and everyone should watch us.
Yeah. And if you don't ever talk to me again. Just kidding.
Yeah, well, you're getting some views at least.
Yeah, thanks.
So, Dr. Fleming, are movies something that you're passionate about? What made you decide to appear on the show?
I've never considered myself a film buff. Of course, I love watching movies. I always say that one of the great advantages to being a communication professor and teaching TV is that you have to watch TV and watch or at least consume storytelling in some way, shape, or form to be able to have something to discuss and use as examples in class. So it's super fun to be able to not only enjoy the movies, but then to be able to think back to theoretical constructs and different models that I've studied. One really great example was during my PhD program, I was in a media ethics class, and we were learning about different ethical constructs. Like an egoist, I'm even trying to think about some of because my project is focused on the egoist. And so I studied Mrs. Doubtfire, which many of my students, you know Mrs. Doubtfire? Of course you know Mrs. Doubtfire, but if I talk about Mrs. Doubtfire to a lot of my students, they have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I followed Freytag's plot pyramid, as I always talk about.
Right.
And Robin Williams, or Daniel, the character his character in the movie, through the narrative structure and the ethical decisions that he had to make the entire time. So whenever I watch a movie, I can't watch it for just entertainment purposes. I'm either paying attention to why a story is being told a certain way, or the camera angles, the audio, the acting. So I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a film buff or an expert in film, but I do consider myself an expert in storytelling. So it's just one of the ways I consume stories.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean by you can never just watch a movie just to enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
You're always analyzing something.
It's one of the it's like bittersweet about being a comm major, is once you start to learn some of the concepts and like we talk about in audio production, if you don't have balanced audio and your audience starts paying attention or has to turn up the TV because they can't hear what an actor's saying, then they're completely disengaged from that story. And the Jungle Book, the CGI, the latest one, I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but the audio is not very good in that. And the CGI is fantastic, but it ruins the movie for me. A lot of people, like my husband, he didn't notice anything off about it. But yeah, knowing too much can sometimes get in the way of being able to enjoy.
Yeah, I've had a couple movies like that where, I like reading about the film after I watch it, all the trivia and stuff, and then, you find out like two actors aren't even in the same room together and aren't even playing off each other.
Yeah.
And then anytime I watch that movie, then it's like I get pulled out of it because I remember like, oh wow, like they weren't even in the same room. Like he's not even really talking to whoever he's supposed to, he or she's ever supposed to be talking to. I think one that comes to mind is Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. William Shatner and Ricardo Montalban were never on set together for any of their, even though they're on two different ships during the movie, they were never on set together to read lines with each other. And a credit to, especially Ricardo Montalban in that film because he's so passionate in his villainous role as Khan. But But it pulls me out because then I sit there and think like, oh yeah, it was some person on set reading those lines to them the day they filmed their scenes that they're supposed to be talking to each other. And the same with some animated shows. You know, there's animated shows where I necessarily didn't pick up it when I was younger, but then after reading like, oh, like the actors didn't even do, like today a lot of animated movies and stuff, they're in big, you know, studios doing the lines together. And back then, you know, they would just film them separately. So, I mean, now I go back and I'm just like, you know, yeah, it really doesn't feel like they're having a conversation right now. It feels like two people just talking out these two lines, if that makes sense. So.
Well, that's like for our audience would be really surprised right now that I'm not even actually in the studio. I'm actually over in ECB currently, and I'm being dubbed into this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the power of movies,
it's
baby.
The power of, yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Just kidding, guys.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to James real quick. So, were you surprised when Dr. Fleming joined you for Real Reviews?
Yeah, it was her idea. It wasn't even my idea. I was getting ready to ramble on for God knows how long about They Came From Beyond Space because I wanted to get back to it. We only did, I think, 3 episodes this semester, and then we were abandoned by both of our hosts. And no, she said, you know, she would do it. All I had to do was send her the movie. And I was just like, oh, really? Like, I was shocked. And then we did that first episode, and, you know, no offense to Trevor or Aaron, who were both, you know, great because they had on-screen chemistry. You know, Aaron and I didn't really have that on-screen chemistry. And then when we did our first episode, I actually thought it was like our best episode out of both seasons because I just felt like we both were excited to talk about it versus not knowing who's going to talk about what. So
Nerding out. Well, and two, I mean, since I've met James, he's been very passionate about producing content. And so I didn't want to leave you hanging up here by yourself.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I wanted to help you out in any way I could.
I appreciate it. We had fun.
Yeah. I mean, we got to eat cheeseburgers today.
Yeah. Nice throwing by Brandon
I was going
Pierce.
to say, actual real movie magic would be the cheeseburgers that randomly appeared in our hands during our last episode was Brandon laying on the ground, just...
It's true.
In his fancy clothes. Tossing cheeseburgers.
Yeah, but we got the shot, so.
We did get the shot, and we landed those cheeseburgers.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Well, I believe we have a clip of the first episode the two of you did together. Let's take a look at that real quick.
All right.
Just to give you a little heads up about what the movie's about.
Yes.
It follows a group of scientists who are investigating an unusual meteor shower, and you know, they wind up becoming possessed, I guess is the best way to say it, by these aliens who have traveled on the meteor. And there's
Very Mars Attack-like.
Yeah, which, man, I wish that was in the public domain because that would just be a fun movie to sift through.
We can still talk about it.
We could see. But, yeah, they possess. We don't really.
Well, that was a very interesting clip. So would it be fair to say that it seems like the two of you have more fun than it seems to be work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just basically because, I mean, it's really all you're doing. You're sitting down and watching a movie. What is it? Like the one we did today was an hour and 18 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you can watch that, especially some of these older movies. You don't have to sit here and watch the entire thing and not understand what's going on. Movies today, you know, Tenet comes to mind, you know, Christopher Nolan's movie in 2020. I don't know if you guys saw it, but you had to really pay attention to what was going on.
Yeah.
So you couldn't be multitasking, as were some older movies. You can multitask, and I mean, you know, they're not as plot-driven. They're more visually driven. So, so, I mean, really, what does it take to watch these films each week? It's not too bad, especially when you do shorts. I mean, at the telethon, you and I did Porky Pig's big feature, and
that was good.
Even though we didn't watch it that night at the telethon, I mean, that's only an 18-minute short. So, yeah, I mean, it's not, and then just reading about it, it's fun. I mean, you get to poke fun at it. Today we poked fun at the one we watched today, which we'll post on Friday. So, yeah, I don't, and it's movie. I mean, I love movies. She said I'm passionate about movies, so it's not work to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing
well,
it anyway.
and yeah, I mean, in general, I feel very, very lucky. My job is fantastic working with you guys and being your advisor and being your professor. I'm just, nothing seems like I've never woken up one morning and said like, oh, I don't want to go to work. I love coming to work. And so this is just an added bonus.
Yeah. And it's been fun working with
Yeah.
you and Avery and everybody and Ben. So
You're going to be graduating.
on and on and on. Zach,
leaving
wherever
soon.
he's
You're
at.
going to be
in there.
leaving soon.
So yeah, I mean that's the best part about it, honestly, is working with you guys, and not necessarily, not talking just about real reviews, but in general, at the studio.
Well, it's certainly been a fun ride for sure.
Don't choke up on us, Brandon.
Get us some tissues, please.
Yeah.
PA.
Yeah,
Let's get another Brandon crying sequence going.
Yeah,
We need
where's that
tissues
camera
instead of
magic at?
cheeseburgers.
Yeah, just toss them on. Alrighty.
We're crazy.
Well, can one of you tell me a little bit about the final 2 episodes that you have planned for this semester?
I think,
Talking about today.
yeah, we decided that for our last episode, our finale, we're going to do some sort of cartoon similar to the Porky Pig one that you guys did. Just because we've done 2 what are supposed to be scary movies.
Yeah. And weren't.
Yeah. But I think that this will definitely set the stage and the tone for whoever decides to do this next year.
Yeah.
Because
We will be moving on to a new project. And I think because we've had so much fun doing real reviews together, and the difficulty about real reviews is, and we talk about this in our most recent episode, is that finding films that audiences are going to want to watch, because in the public domain, you don't really have the exciting films that,
everyone knows.
everybody knows. They're, kind of obscure movies that are forgotten. But so that's the other issue. That's one issue. And then the other issue is we've run into situations where films have hit the public domain and then a company picks them up and gains the rights to them. So, and that's not updated everywhere on the internet. So we'll use several different websites and they still have them listed in the public domain and free to use, and then we'll go to post them and we'll get a copyright claim. So that happened with our first episode that Dr. Fleming was on, and we're actually just going to wind up just removing the movie from the thing and just putting a message in between just so we can get that episode out, because it really was a good episode, and we'll just put a link to where you can go watch it. Because as Dr. Fleming talks about in the episode, it's available for free on Tubi, which is a streaming app. But that's the biggest one for us. So, but we have such a good time, nerding out, as Dr. Fleming called it, that we're going to do a talk show next semester where we just talk about current events, of all kind.
Yeah, that seems like it would definitely be an interesting one between the 2 of you that'd be talking about current events.
Yeah.
I know I'll be tuning in wherever I may be.
You'll be off in Hollywood somewhere.
That'd
Little
be a nice
Spielberg
show. Yeah, we'll see about
off
that.
making Close Encounters
Close Encounters of the fourth kind.
of the fourth kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you mentioned a little bit about your plans for next season, but is there any other fun, exciting things coming up on the horizon?
Well, we have this amazing student named Zachary Gibson, who is super involved behind the scenes, and has really grown to be one of our most dedicated members. And so between him and James, I think that your biggest project is probably going to be recruiting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and actually we already started working on next fall's schedule. It's going to be quite a bit. We have absorbed, although I guess technically it was always under WSRU-TV, we have brought Soul Foods under the studio. It'll still be filmed in McCoskey, but it will be more formally under the WSRU-TV umbrella.
Yeah.
And our hope is, since especially Ariana Mixter, who is one of the leaders at Soul Food, she's interested in doing this, and hopefully that means we could probably share crew back and forth across multiple productions, which would be good because, as you know, Brandon, and it's been difficult this semester, kind of keeping a hold on our numbers. I think we just fell back kind of to a group of 4 again, group of 4 or 5. So, recruiting is going to be the biggest thing. And then the second thing, that Zach and I are really, passionate about, that's a priority, is the Rock Media Network, which we've already, discussed with Matt Glover, who was on just a few minutes ago. And
Is Zach Gibson in the studio? Can we get Zach Gibson in the studio
Get him
so that everyone
out
can see
here.
who we're talking about?
I just keep
I think
flashing
he's
an
coming.
image of Zach on the screen during
I think
the
he's
broadcast.
coming. Come on in, Zach.
Look at him. Mr. Modest, get out here.
No, I was going to say no hesitation. He's like, let me grab a mic.
He's like, I was here the whole time.
Yeah.
Pops up from behind the couch.
Just speak loudly.
Just plug it in. A little behind the scenes.
Yeah. You want to talk about movie magic? We can just make things happen.
Can we make this go away?
But yeah, so Zach can also talk about some of the. No, yeah. I mean, I can move. Yeah, come on back. I know that there's been a lot of talk about a new set design. So Dr. Keppel and I are going to help these two implement some major changes.
Okay.
We don't mess around. We do things professionally here. There's Zach.
Hi, guys.
Zach.
So Zach, tell us a little bit about what's going on with WSRU-TV next semester.
It's like, what's happening?
So we do have a lot of plans for revamping even just the WSRU-TV side of next semester. I think in total we have 6 shows that we have on our schedule, and we are looking to be able to streamline and work with to better integrate with the other 2 departments, WSRU FM and the Rocket, to be able to have some of our programs cross-platformed with their platforms to make the network to be a lot more viable and make all of the work that we do a lot more convenient for us and the other departments to be able to use and advertise and gain experience from.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a pretty solid plan moving forward.
Absolutely.
Sad to be leaving it soon.
Yeah, they work really, really hard. So.
Yeah. Anything else you three would like to share?
Should we
No.
bring somebody else out to the studio?
Anybody else?
Anybody else want to come out to the studio? Avery, you trying to pop out here? She's thinking about it. Come on out, Avery.
All right, I think we're probably.
No, she's really coming out.
Oh, yeah.
She's really coming out. This isn't a joke.
What is this turned into?
The second to last episode, it's a free-for-all. There she is.
Here, I'll share with you, Avery.
Come on over here, Smalls. Should I step in the back? You want to sit on the couch? We can't see it back there.
Hello.
So Avery, welcome to the interview.
Thanks for having me.
This is a skit on us.
On this impromptu interview.
Yeah. So tell me real quick, what's been one of your favorite things you've done for WSRU-TV this semester?
Oh man, probably getting to know this guy right here.
Aww.
We've been spending lots of many long nights together trying to edit all of these videos for you guys to post on YouTube.
Yeah, you guys work really hard.
And we've really gotten to know each other, so I made a great friendship with James and also getting to work with Zach and Brandon.
Yeah.
Besties.
You guys were second build there.
I know.
So we're all.
Yeah, well, at least you read the
No,
names.
that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
last semester, Avery and I spoke like 5 words to each other,
An hour.
and now we're best friends.
Yeah.
You have your best friend bracelet on, by the way?
No.
I don't have it on either.
All right.
Well, what
Well.
a pity. Well, that sounds like that whole adventure next semester is going to be a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Well, we're not going to have you guys, so not as much fun. I mean,
True.
We'll be watching.
honestly.
That's for sure. Wouldn't miss this one.
Oh, well.
Well,
Ben?
thank you. Well, thank you all for tuning in for this very interesting interview. Be sure to check back with us next week for our final episode of SRU Nightly News. I'm Brandon Pierce, and have a great evening, SRU.